This is so not right. I am so angry. I am not going to be holding back today because things need to change, and they need to change now. I'm Debra, certified master dementia strategist, and you are here with me at Answers About Alzheimer's, where we talk about everything related to dementia. Those who know me know that I have pretty strong opinions, and I'm not afraid to share those opinions. When I feel a change is needed, I take action. I currently have a bill on the Senate floor about elder abuse. It states that if a person is convicted of elder abuse, they cannot inherit from that victim's estate. Now today, I have another concern. It's time that we all come together. We need to work as a team to make some considerable changes within the system of hospitals and doctors' offices, nursing homes, rehab centers, memory care, and on and on. Have you heard of medical gaslighting? Are you familiar with what medical gaslighting means? Because today I'm going to expand on that even further. And we're going to talk about dementia gaslighting. Yeah, dementia gaslighting. This makes me so angry. Medical gaslighting is when a medical provider dismisses or downplays your symptoms. When you've left a doctor's appointment, have you ever felt that your questions were not answered or you left without the solutions that you needed? Have you ever felt that you were talked down to or belittled or blown off? Have you ever left the hospital or a doctor's appointment or a senior living community feeling upset and angry that you were not being heard or that the concerns that you had were not rectified? That's medical gaslighting. I know personally of several instances where medical gaslighting has happened. Some people are at higher risk for medical gaslighting. For instance, women, people of color, and the elderly are at a much higher risk of gaslighting. One of my own family members had contacted the doctor several times for excruciating periods, vomiting, headaches, dizziness, and the list goes on and on. She was told over and over that she was fine and it was just normal symptoms. No way was this normal. I myself tried to intervene and the doctor just would not listen. One day I got a phone call from this young woman and she was in the emergency room because the pain had gotten so unbearable. She had a cyst that ruptured in her ovaries. This never should have happened. The trauma that she was told over and over that she was fine when she was not fine, no one listened. The agony, the psychological effects, and the delay in treatment, it's absolutely ridiculous. My mother, many, many years ago, went to the hospital and saw a cardiologist named Dr. Knight. He did a cardiac cath and then sent my mother home with a death sentence, telling her that she had a blockage in her heart and that it was not operable. She went back to her cardiologist and he was surprised. He said, "Other than your heart, you are a very healthy woman. I'm going to send you for a second opinion." We then went to go see Dr. Kirshner, and after he reviewed her chart, he excused himself. When he came back into the room, he told us that he did not understand why she was not kept at the hospital, the first hospital, and had open heart surgery. He said that he thought he was going to discover that her heart was upside down or that she had had AIDS. AIDS was a much bigger deal back then. He took her off her Plavix and he said to her, "Don't die on me until Monday," and scheduled her for surgery. Sent her home with a new outlook on life. After my mother's open heart surgery, she lived another 15 years. I am so sick and tired of doctors picking and choosing who they want to operate on. I later discovered that more than likely, the doctor didn't want to operate on her because of her age and he didn't want to screw up his statistics if she died on his operating table. It was all about him, not the patient. He sent her home to die. This is medical gaslighting, and it needs to stop. Several years ago, I had an office manager named Julie. She was amazing, and I loved her dearly. She started getting sick. She had vomiting and diarrhea. She was not feeling well, and she was losing weight, a lot of weight. She went to the doctor several times, and they couldn't really find out what was wrong with her. I kept pressing her to get a second and a third opinion. And she had other symptoms that now I just can't remember what they were. But I remember telling her that each doctor was looking at her individual symptoms and not putting the whole puzzle together. Well, long story short, she had cancer. After several rounds of treatments and surgeries, I remember I went to go visit her in the hospital. She looked like death. She had lost over 100 pounds. Her face and her cheeks were sunken in. She was on Medicaid and Medicare, and the doctor came in to talk to her. And I felt like the doctor wasn't really being proactive in her health care. So I asked Julie for permission to speak on her behalf. She was so weak. And I said to the doctor, I said, "You're looking at her as a Medicaid patient, and you're just seeing a woman lying in a hospital bed in front of you. And what I see lying in this hospital bed in front of me is one of the smartest women I've ever known. She has been running my company and a staff of 100 employees. This woman has a lot of purpose, and a lot of people depend on her, and you need to fight like hell to get her well." I had to convince this doctor to see what I saw, a person worth fighting for. But we shouldn't have to do that. We shouldn't have to have somebody watching every move that these medical professionals make. We shouldn't have to beg the doctors to go above and beyond for their patients. We should all be getting the same excellent treatment every time. We shouldn't have to have someone with a big mouth willing to fight for them. We should not feel like we're being blown off or not listened to, or the doctors just give up because it's too hard of a case to figure out or it's too expensive. No one knows our bodies better than us. No one knows our normal more than those around us. If you have heart disease, doctors will manage your symptoms. They'll give you suggestions on how to get better. If you have cancer, doctors will manage your symptoms or prescribe a course of chemotherapy or perform surgery. But what and how do we manage the symptoms of dementia? Because the symptoms are really problems or symptoms for the caregivers and the family members. So when you go to the doctor's office or the neurologist's office, you talk to the doctor, the nurse, or the social worker, and you tell them that you're having problems with anger and aggression. Do they have an actual outline, a plan of things for you to follow to help you navigate through that symptom of dementia? No. If you go to the doctor and you tell them that they're up all night and wandering, do they give you a strategic plan on how to handle that symptom? No. If you tell the doctor, the nurse, the social worker, or the care community that your person with dementia is refusing to bathe or they're crying all the time, do they give you the resources or a strategic plan with several ideas and things that you can do for your person with dementia? No. And why is that? Why? It's simply because they are not trained. They don't know what to tell you. They don't have a clue what to tell you to do. They could easily, very easily get trained and taught how to help the families of those diagnosed with dementia. Instead, you're here on your own and desperate for answers. In my opinion, most of these offices are just trained in the medical diagnosing process, They are trained to tell you maybe what stage you're in or what you can expect to happen or what your life expectancy is, and they can prescribe you some drugs. But they are not educated in how to tell you exactly how to handle these very disruptive situations and behaviors. And that's not right. Doctors' offices, nurses, social workers, nursing homes, memory care units, assisted livings, independent livings, rehab centers, working with this population, they need to invest in real training for their staff to provide real, intelligent, strategic, comprehensive plans and solutions to help the person with dementia. Because ultimately, the person with dementia has to rely on those around them. It's time that we band together. We need to start letting the medical community know that we are not going to take it anymore. They need to invest in the proper training for their staff. We have to start letting our voices be heard and tell these offices that this is unacceptable. The training is out there, and they can afford to pay for it. They can call me. They can call other training programs. But they're not going to do it unless we all start demanding it. Dementia gaslighting. After an appointment, were all of your questions answered? Did you feel rushed? Did you feel dismissed and not taken seriously? Because your problems that you're dealing with are serious. They are very serious. Did you leave with a list of ideas to combat those problems that you're experiencing? Seniors are the highest population of victims of medical and dementia gaslighting. Do you feel like your medical provider is blowing you off or the questions are not being answered? If you're not getting the tools that you need and the help that you and your person with dementia, this is dementia gaslighting. So what can you do about it? You can try to talk to the office manager. You could ask for a patient advocate or an ombudsman. You could get a second opinion, maybe ask for a referral for a doctor from a friend. You could also file a complaint or call an attorney. But we need to start being the voice, or nothing is going to change. We need to start letting the medical community know that this is unacceptable and we have to do better. People working with seniors who are working with the dementia population have to have these types of education. They need comprehensive training. Not a couple of hours, but real training. They're doing us all a disservice. And I'm pretty sure that they want the training. They just don't know where to go and get it. And they're not being forced to do it. They say, oh, I don't have enough time. That's a lame excuse. Tell them, I'm available to teach them. You tell them to call me. I've had it with hearing people say that they go to the doctor and they leave without the tools that they need. I got a message from one of my viewers just this morning saying they got more information from one of my 10-minute videos on a certain type of dementia than they had gotten from months of doctors and different specialists. Families tell me, why should I even bother going to the doctor? Dementia gaslighting. It's ridiculous. Time to speak up. Time to get loud. Together, we can. Are you a nurse, a doctor, or an aide, dining server, or in housekeeping in a senior living setting? Would you like to go to work every day knowing exactly how to handle any situation that arises with a person with dementia? Then head on over to my website, answersaboutalz.org, and get on the mailing list so that you can be notified when we launch our new certification program.